Some people might call me an eternal optimist, but I wouldn't call myself that. That's so not what I was raised in. I was raised in the facts.
Right.
And so, no, that's not what it is. It's who God is.
Yeah.
And coming into agreement with what he created you for, which may not be what you're seeing today.
Right.
Only my family couldn't even see who God made me to be when I weighed 69 pounds and I was bucking every rule in the book and every authority that I could. And just wanted to die. It's like I was like, just leave me alone and let me die. And let me do it the way I want to do it.
Right.
Because what you guys don't know is that life really isn't worth living, which is the way I felt. And it was such a lie. And there's so many things that happen in our lives that the enemy is trying to sow that seed. You're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. Too much has happened to you. You're used goods. You are, if people only knew who you really were, that was a big one he used with me. And he's such a liar. He's such a liar. And he doesn't quit lying. Are you kidding me? He's the accuser of the brethren. So if you start looking the Lord's direction, if you start using your mouth as a rudder to go that way, he's like, dadgummit, what in the world? Now we have to focus on this one. Now I've got to put some stuff out into the atmosphere that is familiar to them, that they will grab a hold of. I think I sowed a seed when they were 4 years old. And maybe if I can just bring that up, I can get them to look away. I can get them to believe that what I'm saying is truth and that what the Lord is offering them is not truth. If the enemy is offering you something, a bunch of bull. Yeah. If he's offering you that is a sure sign that right now, in the moment, God is offering you something better. And you have a choice. He's not going to love you any less if you choose to believe the rotten and the stuff that produces death in your life. But that God's offering you something that'll produce life in you. Take it. Yeah. Today, take it. Yeah. Because taking it today, you have no idea how that'll affect your future and what God has in store. It's one of the things he tells me over and over and over in my time with him is, oh, what I have in store for you that you do not know. Oh, the places I want to take you. He just said it the other night. Oh, the places I want to take you, Nanette, that you never intended to go. Places that you do not know. And my plans are good. I created you for this. Will you take my hand and go with me? And he's no respecter of persons. So I can guarantee you that what he's offering me, he's offering you too. Just do it.
Yes. Oh, so good, Nanette. I'm so excited to watch your journey. I've been a part of your journey for about a decade. And I'm so excited to continue watching. I always learn so much from you, and I'm so happy that um, that there will be more people who get to hear your story, and also hear God's story through
Mm.
because
Mm.
that's the story worth telling. So thank you so much for this time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and we
You're welcome. Something else I actually feel led to say right now. Emily had to pray over me doing this. Um, Now I'm gonna get emotional, but that's okay. I'm okay with being emotional as long as it's the Holy Spirit now. I still have to make sure it's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
That's still in me. But you know, I I think I've told this one other time in my whole life when it wasn't to a psychiatrist or psychologist and even then, and what I'm gonna say is, I didn't tell you guys my whole story. There are so many twists and turns and parts to that story that literally, if I told you my whole story today, there would be somebody from every walk of life that it would minister to. I can guarantee it. Every walk of life, and so maybe that's why you made me a life coach, because there is not a walk of life that I cannot relate to people on. But oh my gosh, every time I thought about telling it, a shame would come. And the actually interesting thing that I would hear is, oh, you don't want to tell that. You don't want to tell that. You don't want people to know that.
Wow.
Because as it is, I still live in the city where all this happened. And so there are a lot of people in the city that knew me, knew a very different Nanette.
Yeah.
And it was interesting when you, Emily, asked me about this. My first reaction was, oh no, you're not guilting me into this. No. And Emily could probably get me to do just about anything for her. Even go to Haiti. So but the more I asked the Holy Spirit about it, the more he kept telling me, it's me, Nanette. And you need to stop looking at this as just your story. Yeah. And you need to start looking at it as my story in you. Okay. And then it's like all of a sudden, it's just this peace, shalom peace just literally flooded my body. And I knew it was safe.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt reservation once since then. Yeah. A lot of warfare. Yeah. Losing my voice, which is still not quite what it normally is. And us having to reschedule it and everything. But I'm really, really excited that God made a way and we were able to push through and do this today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great word for all of the men and women that are hesitant about telling their story. There's freedom on the other side, and it is God's story. And especially here at Pursuit Church Live, our heart is to create a safe place free of shame where we all are accepted and loved and belong, and we don't just say that, we back
Yeah.
that, and we
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
and we do it for each other, and I honor your story. And you know, for someone to be, it's that Psalm 18, but me he reached down from sky to sea, and he pulled me out of that ocean of hate, that enemy chaos, the void in which I was drowning. And he set me up in a wide open space, and I stood there saved, surprised to be loved.
Yes.
And that's our story. And we are loved. And if God is for us, who can be against us? So,
I feel like I'm supposed to pray, if that's
yes,
okay.
Please
Can
do.
I pray on this? Okay.
Prayer, yeah.
I really sense like there's somebody that the Lord wants to touch.
Yeah. Okay.
Wants to literally what you just said. It's like he wants to reach out and touch their heart, like right now.
Cool.
And so I just want to come into agreement with that.
Yeah.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. There's nothing like your name.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord, I just thank you that you were a walking example to us on this earth.
Yeah.
Of how to be human and be in 100% relationship with God.
Yeah.
Be the Son of Man and the Son of God. Lord, we can be human and we can be a child of you, a child of yours. And Lord, I thank you that right now, even right now, that you are reaching out and touching the hearts of people who have wrestled even with, is my life worth it?
Yeah.
What do I matter? What does my life even matter? Lord, oh my gosh, I so felt that in the moment when I wanted to take my life. I know what that feels like, Lord. And you reached out and said, you haven't even begun to experience me, Nanette. Give me a chance. Give me a chance in your life. Will you? Lord, I just thank you that your love is different from man's love. Doesn't matter how wounded we've been by men or women in our idea of love. It doesn't matter. Your love is so different that the Greeks had to create a word for it. Your agape love. Lord, I just ask that even today, that you would put your love on display.
Yeah.
I ask you to put your love on display to every person that's listening right now, that they would know you and your love in a new way. I ask you to ambush them with your love.
Yeah.
And Lord, I just thank you ahead of time for what you're going to do and the testimonies that are going to come from that. The testimonies of changed lives, of changed perspectives, of the ability to love you differently and be loved by you differently.
Yeah.
In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Amen. Thanks, Nanette.
You're welcome.
Love you, friend.
See you later.